Welcome to the Business Chaser, your quick pour of strategy, clarity, and momentum. We skip the small talk and get straight to the strategy here in these bite-sized episodes. We're here to help you grow smarter, market better, and chase what matters, all in 15 minutes or less. I'm your host, Lauren Najar. Tune in and let's chat.
Hi, I am Jessica Wilson, back on the podcast, owner of Design Ledgers. And I promise I'm not going to get too nerdy, but we are going to talk about part of running your business that not everybody talks about, and you definitely don't get like a manual on how to do this. Have you ever logged into your bank account, you've seen a few $1,000s, and you're like, great, I can pay myself, or I can finally upgrade my laptop? I get it. I have definitely done that. But the truth is, just because that money is there, it doesn't mean it's available. The balance is not going to show you upcoming bills that you have, what you may owe in taxes, the deposits that haven't cleared yet, or the subscription costs that always come up when you would least expect it. And how do you fix this? First, it is tracking your bank account, knowing what's going to happen. A big thing is to separate your money into like buckets. Now, I'm not saying if you've heard of the profit first method, it's really cool. I do recommend reading the book. Feel if that system is going to work for you. But at the very least, I do recommend either setting up a separate account or somehow separating the money to save for taxes at the end of the year. Because it's going to happen. You're going to owe some kind of tax. And I always recommend at least 20 to 25% of your income gets put aside to be able to pay for that. Now let's talk about doing bookkeeping by yourself, DIY bookkeeping. I get it. You're just starting out. You might not have the funds to be able to pay for a professional to do it, or it might feel like intimidating, like you don't really know what you're supposed to do. And it is not like the glamorous hire that comes with running a business. You know, a bookkeeper is not somebody that's going to help you build out content for Instagram. It's not building your brand that, is going to bring in the sales, is going to make people want to come buy from you. But bookkeeping is the backbone of your business. It helps you understand where your money is coming in and where it's going out and why. It's kind of like if you think of remodeling your house. There's a bunch of electrical work that has to get done. But at the end, when people come over, they're looking at the new throw pillows, the new paint on the walls, and they're never going to see the brand new like electrical wires in the back. But when you come to sell the house, an inspector comes in, they are going to know that you had a really good electrician come and fix your house. And that is like a bookkeeper and an accountant relationship. When you bring your books to an accountant at the end of the year and you had a professional look at them, your accountant is going to thank you, I promise. And it's going to be a much better relationship than you rifling through all of this paperwork, trying to find all of your receipts at the end of the year, because you're not going to remember what you spent money on in January when it's December. You're just not. You might not need somebody monthly. Maybe you're just not at that point. Maybe either you can't financially afford that or that just feels like too much. That's okay. I would highly recommend finding a bookkeeper and booking like an intensive with them. They might have an option to talk like for an hour, hour and a half. And that's where you can ask all of your questions. You can help them build out a system that will work. So whether that is, setting up a Google sheet to track all of your expenses and income, it could be as simple as that. If you really feel like you want to tackle QuickBooks, they can help you get it set up and started. And then, at the end of the year, you can book a VIP day, have somebody come in for a day and look through everything that you did. So there's definitely ways that doesn't only have to be monthly bookkeeping. There could be different offers that somebody is giving that, like bookkeeping on a budget, kind of. But a few routines that I highly recommend is to pick one day a week that is like your money day. It does not have to be long. Only needs to be like 10 minutes, but I want you to be looking at your expenses. If you have a tracker, which I highly recommend, you write in all of the transactions that you had for that week. And then I want you to look at all of the invoices that you've sent out. Make sure that you have sent them. Because I'll be the first to admit I forgot to invoice a client one month, and I'm a bookkeeper, so it happens. Not only do I want you to make sure that you sent the invoice, but look through past invoices and make sure that they're all paid. You might have a client that just needs a reminder every once in a while that, hey, you have an open invoice. And that's okay because you did the work, you sold the product, you're owed the money. So here's your permission to get your money. Another huge thing that you will thank yourself for at the end of the year is start saving your receipts. And this can be a very, very simple system. Go to Google, in your Google Drive, make a folder and name it receipts. If you want to get fancy, make a folder for each month so that you can find things faster, but have a receipts folder. I would maybe also have like a tax prep folder in there. And then I would put in that one your like business documents. So your EIN letter, your LLC paperwork, if you have it. If you got 1099s from people, I would scan it in and put it there. Basically, you're putting everything in this digital folder so you don't have to go ruffle through your papers at the end of the year because you're going to lose them. It happens. And if you keep everything digitally, you don't need to keep the paper documents. Going back to receipts, as soon as you spend money, take a picture on your phone and you can upload it right to that Google Drive folder. It is the easiest way to do it. And if you bought something online and you have a receipt emailed, print that to PDF, save it to the folder, however you want to do that. But do it right away or do it at your, weekly money day so that down the road, it's one less thing to be overwhelmed about because it's already done. Then at the end of each month, so you have a weekly money day. At the end of each month, go ahead and look at your bank statement. If you have a credit card, look at your credit card statement and just make sure it all feels okay. Did anything get double charged? If you wrote checks, was the check amount right? I've had it where I wrote a check for $120 and the bank cashed it for $115. So now there's a difference there. We got to figure out why. And that is much easier to do, again, monthly rather than trying to do a year's worth of that at the end. The biggest takeaway from this is the more that you do right away or consistently when it comes to tax time, that you don't dread that as much because it is going to happen. It happens every year. And running a business, part of that is taxes. We hate it, but it's true. So do it now. It definitely does not have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. I feel like these small steps help it not feel overwhelming because you deserve to feel like you're in control of your money. Your business is working for you, not against you. And then if you have these things like in a routine, you can go do all the fun stuff and why you started the business. If everything I just said feels like I can't do any of this, then it's time to hire a bookkeeper. And that is fantastic. That is going to be hopefully a long relationship that you can grow and build together. If you're wanting to tackle the DIY, I do have a free guide. It's called the Bookkeeping Reset. It has very simple things, kind of what we talked about, but a little bit more detail and more like checklist items in there. Definitely go check that out. And you can do this. You got it.
That's your quick hit of clarity and momentum for the week. If it sparks something, share it with a friend or tag us in your stories at Business Over Cocktails and or at Lauren Najar. We love seeing what resonates. Don't forget, Mondays are for full-length episodes with rich conversations, and Fridays are the Business Chaser episodes. These are bite-sized insights pulled from our guests to keep you inspired and aligned throughout the week. Do you have a question or a takeaway? DM us at Business Over Cocktails. We just might feature it in a future episode. Cheers!